On the phone, we've got a Bear legend, former Chicago Bear. He also played for the 49ers, Colts, and Eagles, but we won't mention those teams. Pro Football Hall of Famer Richard Dent. How you doing, Richard?
Pretty good. How about you guys? How are you doing?
Good. Great. I see you grew up in Georgia. How did you not go to Georgia for college and end up at Tennessee State?
Well, Georgia, really, I didn't get recruited by anyone really much in football. Found out later that I had an opportunity to play basketball at Alcorn, but my high school coach never kind of told me about that. Probably would have went that way. Who knows? But I can't. I have to be happy with the road that William Lester put me on. But no, didn't get any action there in Georgia. Really didn't start to play until I got in 11th, 12th grade. So it was a it was a slow time to figure out, when did I want to play. And one of my buddies was a couple doors away from me. He knew I loved the game, and he sacrificed himself to play the game to get me out there. I was working, taking care of my own business, and my buddy told me, Richard, you can work the rest of your life once you try your dream one time. So, with that statement, put me where I am today.
You're better off you weren't at Georgia. You'd have to go against Herschel Walker in practice every day.
Herschel was behind me. Yeah, Herschel was 2 years behind me, but I saw Herschel in the state track meet, and he was a sophomore, and Larry Killebrew, a good friend of mine that I went to school with, both of them was in the 100-yard dash. Larry Killebrew, who played with Cincinnati, he was 245 pounds. Herschel was probably about 235. And it was the funniest thing you ever seen to see two big guys get in the 100-yard dash. And obviously, Herschel lost that day to Larry Killebrew, who I played college ball with.
So you end up at Tennessee State.
Yeah.
And I believe you were a skinny offensive lineman when you arrived here.
This would be true, yeah. Skinny offensive lineman, isn't that something?
So was John Merritt, who is the coach there, did he say, okay, I've got a future Hall of Fame defensive end, we're going to put you on the other side of the ball? What happened?
Well, what happened is I noticed that I probably wouldn't be playing no time soon. I looked at the head count and kind of just doing the math and seeing that it was probably my senior year before I played. Everybody else, and you look at the lineup and how guys was playing on offense, and I can look over on defense and see Joe Gillum over there, and if a guy is performing, Joe's going to put you out there, regardless if you're a rookie, if you're a senior, or whatever. So, I came here to play ball. I didn't come there to sit around and look. And I decided to make the transition to defense. Now, during that time, when you're on offense and you're giving your defense pictures to the opposing defense that they may be playing or just practicing, I took that time to start preparing myself to be a defensive ball player, and start screwing up plays and making them run them over. And eventually, I guess they got tired of me and told me to go over to defense after I spent a full season and a spring. That summer said, okay, you're going to defense. I don't know, maybe they thought I was going to go away after the season. But I did the same thing during the spring, just prepare myself, getting ready, want to play it. And I knew that, it wasn't no space for me on offense. I really wanted to play tight end, but, they wouldn't go on about that. So I went another route, and eventually I got pushed over to the defensive side of football.
Then the Bears draft in '83. I'm looking at that '83 draft. You get drafted in the 8th round with Mark Forts. Out of the Bears,
Yeah.
let's see, with 6, 7, 8, 9 picks or 8 picks, 7 of them were stars in the Super Bowl team. Colbert, Galt, Richardson, Durson, Thayer, Ewan Bortz. It's incredible.
Yeah, that was amazing. McKinnon was something like a starter anyway. Also, he was on that team. So it was one of the years that NFL, one of the top draft years that probably go down in all times. But when we came in, I mean, I wasn't used to losing. At Tennessee State, I lost 5 games in 5 years. So coming here, our first run, which was in '84 through '88 there, and we out of 4 years we only lost 10 games, but we only received 1 Super Bowl. So I was a little disappointed with that. But outside of that, we had a very serious run that, we just didn't do well at one position. But I had a great time. Played with a lot of great guys, and they didn't know much about me. I didn't know much about them, and you have to kind of show people what you're about, and either they'll catch on or you'll catch on to them or whatever, but the main goal is all about going out winning and competing and being the best that you can be.
As you awaited the NFL draft in '83, did you think that you would go higher?
No, I didn't. It was saying that I was small, a lot of people saying I was small. I was just wanting to get opportunity. Kids today, they bitch and whine about, I lost money, where I should get drafted. It's not about where you should get drafted. It's what you can do with it when you get it. Everybody wants something, but what are you preparing for to hold on or to show people what you're worth and why you want this and what, sustainability is all about of being the best that you can be. Because you can get what you want real easy, but it's hell holding on to it.
The game I remember most is, I think it was '84 against the Raiders. I think you guys knocked out, 4 Raiders quarterbacks?
Yeah, that was a coming out game. They had just won the Super Bowl, and that day, I saw Al Davis on the field walking, and I can remember the 49ers, Dallas, the Raiders, they all, calling me, yeah, we want you, we like you, we're going to get you. So, Al come about, and I told us, hey, Al, your ass whooping today. He looked at me real crazy. And he got what was to come. That was 4.5 sacks day. I should have had probably like 6, 7 that particular day. Never really got that big number in your career. We just wasn't that kind of high-powered offensive team. Thought I could have accomplished that when I went out to San Francisco. Had a high-power offensive team, but unfortunately, got hurt, and I wasn't able to. I'm pretty sure if I had stayed out there 3, 4 years, it wouldn't. The sack record would be way out there.
How soon in training camp did you say to yourself, I can play at this level and be pretty successful at it?
Good point. Everyone. I mean, if you have any doubt and you so for sure, then you're in the wrong room. Everybody has butterflies, and you go through things, and you have to build up to that moment. I can remember looking at Keith Van Horn. Keith Van Horn's about 6'7", 6'8", and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh God, maybe I'm in the wrong league. Maybe. But as soon as I put my hand down, your memory comes back. It's not about the size or anything. You put your hand down, I forgot about everything. It's getting back to the target, what I'm trying to hit, what I'm trying to, protect and play. But you have those thoughts while you're standing there, and the next thing you know, you get the equipment on, you get out there, you kind of forget about those things. But, it was Probably in the springtime, in the summertime, we did some stuff, but it wasn't contact. But I was getting off the ball so fast, these guys couldn't even touch me hardly. I mean, I was just running by them. You know, and some of the older guys were teaching me, say, hey, man, you got to use your hands. I'm like, dude, it's nobody can put their hands on me. So eventually, you know, they caught up, but, you know, but then we got in camp, and when we got in camp there, it was, I was going against Jim Brokover, and I got probably about 2 or 3 sacks on him. And I think, and he was the starter. He wasn't, you know, he walked in just like me. So I wasn't for sure, but I knew I was beating him. Because he's the only guy that was there and everything behind him. So, you know, eventually, and then we started playing with other people, but I got hurt early in the preseason, after the first preseason game in practice. So I wasn't for sure to come out because they was cutting people, they get you on the film, and you're standing in a drill, and yeah, really by law there, they can say that you were out there, yeah, you hurt, but, you know, everybody's hurt sometimes. But, you know, so I was wondering, should I come out, and because I had to take off 2 games. I mean, I tore my hamstring. I rolled up on my ankle real bad, and it was rough. It was really rough for about a week and a half. You know, I mean, just at least a week, just taking baby steps. Just it was tough. But you know, the last game of the preseason, I decided to, you know, strap it up, and you know, I wasn't ready to go. I mean, I wasn't 100% as of running and doing some of the stuff I was expected to do on the special team. But by the end of the season, my legs came back. But, you know, next year they finally started me somewhere about game 6 and into the next season, and that's when things kind of took off.
Is that when you replaced, Mike Hartenstein, or was trying to think?
Well, I really replaced Al Harris, and it was me and Al going at it there. Again, you know, in situations, you know, people, you ask for opportunities or success, and now you get them, and now you see, you know, the team had an investment in Al Harris. Nothing against me and Al, but to me and the team got money in this guy. So they want to see this guy come about. You know, I can understand it. You know, he was a first-round pick, and maybe a couple of years before me, and here I'm a guy coming in, you know, you didn't pay nothing for hardly, and I'm, you know, performing way better than him. So as a businessman, I understand you got money in this guy, you want to see this guy come around, so, you know, you give this guy a lot of chances, or you don't want that kind of competition, you know, then you probably shouldn't be in the business, because if it's about competing and, you know, maybe you lost money in that situation, or maybe you still gain money. Maybe he can back me up or whatever. You know, you can move him in other places, what they tried to do. But that's not a player's fault. But sometimes players don't understand those situations that you're getting into, and you have to understand all of what's around you, what's going to support you, what you're supporting, so you can understand, you know, this is a business. You know, sports industry is a $600 billion industry, and the athletes in sports and only make 10% of the $600 billion. So it's a lot of jobs goes around all of sport.
You were talking about, you know, playing Al Harris ahead of you. But if I'm a businessman, I want to have the best product out there, and you would think the front office and the coaching staff knows, okay, we already spent this money, let's get our maximum money's worth out of it, and that means putting your best players out there, winning as many games as you can. But I guess that's not the way it works, is it?
Well, it's not that way. You know, I actually wrote a book, Blood, Sweat, and Beer, and you know, it talks about those things. You know, I basically asked for opportunity and got the opportunity, and I guess eventually they decided to make that move too. You know, my first year I was basically just played, pass rushing downs, and probably wasn't ready at that time. But that next year, I was pretty much ready. And I kind of stayed in Buddy's ear on the sideline, and eventually, after game 6, and after game 5, no, it was 6, and I played the last 10 games, and didn't have but 1 sack, and I ended up leading the league with 17.5. So I took 10 games and come up with 17.5 sacks. And we went to the NFC Championship. We went to the NFC Championship, come back next year, did the same thing, had 17 sacks, and we won the Super Bowl. After that, they didn't renew Harold's contract. They offered him one, but I guess it wasn't what he wanted or whatever. That's kind of up to the player, but management and coaching staff eventually made a decision and decided to go with me. But, it took them a minute. I can understand that, but yet sometimes, athletes don't know what they're really getting into. And then if it's a coach favorite, you and that coach may be there a while, and he got a favorite, and, there's a lot of bitching and whining and for nothing. It had nothing to do with you, but you have to deal with it.
When you won the MVP of the Super Bowl, what was that like?
It was a great feeling, It was a great feeling, but then again, it was a lonely feeling too, in a way, if you can believe that. I didn't know how they went about choosing the Super Bowl MVP. I thought it was over the games, and when I thought about that, and I sold myself on it, I said, well, hell, I've had 2 hell of a games, First game had about 3 sacks. The next game had 2.5. Had a couple forced fumbles, 2-3 forced fumbles. 8-9 sacks, and 3 games there. In the Super Bowl, I thought it was kind of my worst performance compared to the first 2 playoff games. But, I look back and see the forced fumble there, turn the tide, because they had went up 3 on us. We forced the ball, and we got the ball, had a 20-yard to go in and score, come back, tipped some balls, and got some sacks in crucial time, and the clock just, we just kind of took off and things went down. And, but I had that thought, the night before. I told my roommate Tyrone Keys that, and I was going on ESPN, and I started to say, I'd see myself winning the Super Bowl MVP. But, I said, nah, I won't be that cocky. Never been that guy. I'm cocky about what I do and how I do it, but I don't have to talk about it. Action kind of show it.
So what was more pressure, Super Bowl 20, being part of the Shuffling Crew video and having to perform a solo?
Well, doing something different, it was kind of cool there too, and we did that right after our first loss, so it was probably a good time, because we were licking our wounds, but yet, we were doing something for, at the end of the day, you're like, why am I here? And you say, you're doing this for the charities, raising money and that thing. So, that made the situation a little bit more fun. After our first loss, come back, get back in town 3 in the morning, 2 o'clock the next day, down at the studio, filming the Super Bowl Shuffle video. We had just the lyrics already, and it was fun, when I look back at it now. Now, I got 2 grown girls, and they're kind of cracking up about it. So, it's kind of funny to them. But, no one never did it like that. And I think that's the that's the that's the special thing there. Is to put something out like that. Damn, we was pretty cocky to put something out like that with 6 months, 4 months before the Super Bowl, and talk about it and able to do it. But we committed ourselves a year before. We lost a major game there in the game. And we said that we was going to come back and win everything hands down. We didn't say but we was going to come back and kick everybody's tail and, bring home the Super Bowl.
Whose fault Miami lost? Was it more on Ditka or Buddy Ryan or just the team?
Well, I think, Mike was trying to throw the ball. Miami was 27 and stopping the rush. So, obviously a team like passing the ball. If you understand game plan, you run the ball, you run the ball because the team is damn near last in stopping the run. You got a guy like Walter Payton, and you're talking about a consecutive, 1,300-yard game, and I think we got it at the end, but I think Mike got tied up with trying to be like Shula or wanted to do as good or better than Shula by throwing the ball everywhere. So, we had two coaches. One, Buddy was telling Ditka, run the ball, and Ditka was telling Buddy, stop blitzing. So, just going back and forward like that, and, what do? With the player, sometimes we had to take over the game ourselves because on the sideline, it was out of whack. When we're out of whack, we'll talk to him on Monday. Right now, let's go out here and win this game. So we was trying, but, they had every ghost on the sideline out there, man. Everything was, I was tripping over stuff that wasn't even there. It was one of those games, we realized that there was an opportunity for us to, maybe possibly be undefeated because at that point, we looked out and what it looked like, when they were the last team that we would be playing, they had a good record that probably could, maybe stop us. So we wanted to go down and practice and maybe get a little ready for get ready for the humidity and all. Some of the guys asked Buddy, asked Mike, and obviously if Buddy came up with the idea and Mike didn't come up with it, then we wasn't going, so we didn't go. A lot of little bitching and, here and there. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think Shula did a pretty good job of coaching that game, too, because he had Marino throw, the quick passes and all that stuff.
Yeah, they was the first team spread us out, and he would do a half roll from me. He would make a little roll away from the side I was on and get rid of the ball. So the idea there was let's match up. Let's put because Woodward or we make Gary Finchik come up, and the matchup was go to Nat Moore. Nat Moore was going against Wilbert Marshall or Gary Finchik, and that's in the slot. Hit him in the slot quick, throw it quick, make him tackle. That's what you can do. But, if you're up on points, then you can back up on that, and, you can set a person up to throw it in there and to get annihilated, too. So, it's, but when you're chasing or the game is not in your hands, then a person have more of a repertoire to reach out to see what they might want to do with you.
Did you have a favorite coach you played for?
Yeah, I enjoyed John Merritt. I enjoyed my high school coach. I appreciated Joe Gilliam Sr. because what he did was prepare me not just for the game, but for life in general. And that's what that's what any coaches, to me, it's not about the university. I send my kids to school. If he's going to school, he's going to school. It's the teachers and in the university itself, but when they go in to play sports, those coaches become the second father, you would hope, because kids need to be pushed to a limit that they don't know that they have. And once you've been pushed to that limit, your mind opens up and you appreciate what you have been pushed to and what you accomplished at that moment. Now your vision comes in play. Now you start to visualize all what you could do, because you just, took a big leap and you put yourself in a spot that you thought you would never could get to. And you get there, and now your vision comes in play even stronger to see what else you might want to do and what else and how you want to do what you're doing. How farther can I take this? What level I can take this? How smart can I be? And what I know, where I don't have to run 120%. When you're thinking and you know what's about to happen, you could be moving 60, 70% and look like you're running 120% because you know what's going on, you know what's about to take place.
All I know is after the Bears beat the Patriots 46-10 in Super Bowl 20, a lot of people were envisioning 2, 3, maybe even more Super Bowls from that team. But
yeah, that's the killer there. That's where I think that our so-called leader, the head coach, or management, or general manager, they all play a part. We couldn't get, well, at least the head coach. The coaches know people. You should know people. You know what makes them go, what makes them tick. And sometimes people, Mike Dick could try a different way to try to make me tick. He didn't need to work on me making me tick. Like I said, I met a man that taught me about life through football. That's Joe Gillis, the best ever. I never slept at his meeting. His vocabulary, his education was so strong. I mean, he was just a person that, will always have a memory in my mind to, all what he's given one to accomplish. So, we did not have a quarterback for the length of time we needed. Jim was a great quarterback. He was injury prone, but yet he had something great between his ears there, and he could make it happen. But then when you find a situation where, that guy's down, I think that's when the team went to try to get another all-American white kid with Doug Flutie. And, and now Mike thinking that, he could, if you could do this with a quarterback you just put on your team with maybe 5 weeks into the season, before the season ends, and go in the playoff, then you say your defense can, do anything. And we did, but, we knew that we couldn't give no more than 10 to 13 points. That was our model. You can kick the field goals, but it's going to be hell if you get in the end zone. Because we knew that we could turn the ball over and get field goals. You see. So we knew Kevin Butler was good for, 3, 4. So 13 was a tough number. 13 was like it. That was it. You couldn't get no more than 13 points.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I know the 86 team gave up the fewest points in history, but I think the 84-85 defense was even better.
We was, but the point of it was that if you knew that man, you let him sit on the sideline, you let him get bored all up, he was hurt, you bring him in and you put him to work. Well, after 85, 86, he was hurt, but we was winning. We only lost 2 games with Tom Jack and Fuller. So we bring Flutie in.
Yeah, and Flutie didn't even know the offense.
Right. Thank you. Then the next year McMahon was hurt. He showed up late, and he started it because he was whiplashed from the year before. Now, stay with what got you there. Let that man sit over there and get hot, and you put him in there. But, you know, when a guy's been out and he's got to start, there's a whole different timing, you know. And you know you got a guy that can come off the sideline and play. So this is where you manage people. This is what, you know, I think he did not manage well. That's why we don't have 3 or 4 or 2. You know, 2 should have been a no-brainer. You know, 2's a no-brainer. There's the possibility to do 3 in a row.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, the only quarterback he could have brought in, probably worse than Flutie, would have been Rusty Lish again.
Well, you know, it's not. You know, the point was you had 2 guys. You know, when I go back to this business situation, why you wouldn't give the money to Tom Zach? You drafted him.
Right.
You know, why you didn't give him a chance? Not give him money, but just give him a chance. You know, and the same thing with Steve Fuller. Give him a chance. But, you know, they didn't want to make someone big and had to deal with that situation. That's like brewing a storm, you know. You don't want to be in it.
What was your favorite moment in the NFL?
Well, I would say probably, you know, my mother couldn't get to the Super Bowl, but she met me. She met me at the Pro Bowl after Super Bowl. That was a great moment, and probably one of my 25th birthday. We were playing the Jets. Was pretty cool. All right, I'm going to throw one more in, really, because that was right after I visited with my mother for her birthday. It was in '84 when we played the Redskins. I mean, that was, you know, a good old-fashioned, real, you know, good football hitting game. You know, I mean, it was something about that stadium and something about playing in Washington there was always kind of great.
After you left the Bears, Ditka was gone, Wanstead came in. You ended up with the 49ers for a season. What was that like?
That was cool. You know, I went there to win pick up some Super Bowls. I mean, I thought that, you know, the Bears, we missed out on some opportunities there, you know, and organization was different, you know, also, you know, they went to that extra step, and it's when I say a small step. You check in a hotel, it's a fruit basket, it's Gatorade there. You know, they pick up all meals and everything. You know, they guys get on the plane, guys get off the plane after the game. You know, players get off first. You know, everybody else sit and let the players off. You know, it's really catering. You know, they think if they flying over 2-3 hours, you know, they're gonna go the night before. You know, to get ready for the jet lag. You know, they were more, you know, kind of sophisticated, but you know, but they're all wolves, but wolves with sheep on them, you know.
And you got your Super Bowl ring there, your second Super Bowl.
Right. But you know, and again, went there. I thought that I probably could have played there at least 3 years, maybe 4. You know, so it was possible I could have played till about 2000. That was very possible. With how they went about things, it wouldn't have been that brutal on me, you know. And playing third down would have been a great situation because I could have played third down there for enough of time and come out of the starting role. But I could have started there for 2-3 more years and went into the third down role.
Because the 49ers did that with Fred Dean. They just basically made him a third down specialist. Well, you had Chris Dolman do it, Charles Haley.
Yeah, those guys, you know, Haley left. Yeah, those guys played there after. Yeah, I mean, it was, they understood and they had a model like a dream team that was put together.
But it's impossible to avoid injuries, and
yeah, that's kind of part of the game that you can't get around sometimes. That kind of comes with territory.
How happy were you when you went in the Hall of Fame? I know it was a long time coming.
It was a great feeling. It was a great feeling. I was happy that I could say thanks to some people that was part of that journey, that helped that journey. My high school coach was an important part that I went into the Georgia Hall of Fame with him, and I was able to say thanks to him before he passed. And fortunately, Coach Gillum, a guy, like he said, he coached everybody. He treated everybody the same. What makes me any different than the other guys is within one. But his love for human beings and what he was able to help one to overcome, and he never, here's a guy that sent over, was part of sending over 140 some guys to the pros. From Carl Humphrey, from Too Tall Jones, to Cleveland Elam, to his own son, Joe Gilliam Jr. It's just it's so many ball players that he had sent off to the National Football League. And here's a guy that in 1948 was a quarterback at the University of Indiana, the first black backfield. So here's a guy that, that you just don't run across this kind of guy that often. But to have him on stage with me, yes, my father was important to me too, but to have him on stage with me, I appreciate that more so than what was coming. Because what was coming, people have been giving me that. People have been giving me love and appreciation to what you've done. So it's nice to see, that award take place, because it was the first award for my career. Or for, 2 years, I tell kids, 2 years, I led the league, and I didn't get nothing for it. We won the Super Bowl. I got MVP for it. That's a one-time event. That's not your career. That's not your season. So to get your first, award for your career or anything related to your career, and it was the Hall of Fame, which which was pretty cool. So I guess that's to say, if you stay on track, you're gonna be all right. I've always said stars always shine. Maybe cloudy, but I'm always gonna have some shine to it.
Well, and it's not as if you were just twiddling your thumbs waiting for Canton to come a-calling, because you were staying busy. You have the Make a Dent Foundation and other activities like that. So
right, yeah. That's that's my business, and I'm in the energy business. I started sports management at endowment at Columbia College. Entertainment is entertainment. And then when I was talking about sports, to get kids and people to get involved in sports management, from television to reporting to cameraman to photographer, the sporting industry is a huge industry around all sports. So, get kids to get involved in it. Everybody can't play, but you can get involved. If you love the game and you know the game, then there's ways to make a living with the game. It's not just playing. I think, a lot of African American community, Hispanic community, we think that we have to play to make it. We don't have to play to make it. You can manage the people and make it. Because there's always going to be people. There's always going to be athletes. So it's not going to be all the time that, an athlete is going to make it and play it,